So guys, welcome back again to my channel. Now ABURE has been exposed how he betrayed P2B and also how he sold out LP. We are aware how ABURE has tirelessly tried to destroy P2B's career in Nigeria politics. We are aware how he has been an enemy in that Labour Party, a loophole, and now he has been exposed on how and why he did so. Everything is just boiled down to money. Money is the issue we have in Nigeria, and that is why corruption and bribery is making a way in Nigeria. Just take a listen and let me get your views in the comment section.
To them, it's about money, and money. If there are those stories, if we start those stories, some of you will get angry and will not sleep tonight. You will be too angry.
We know the Edo story now. We know.
You will be.
We know.
You will be too angry that how can one person be so greedy, so wicked, so demonic, to have such disregard for the collective will of distinguished, hardworking young people who really want to move the party forward. How can one person be that demonic? If the person were your father, I'm sure you people will fight naked on the street.
God, I beg you, tell the story. My donation is in Edo. I donated a lot of money for Edo campaign.
See how Edo started. Let me give you a background story of Edo.
Tell the story. It's painful.
Before now, ABURE was a Shomole's boy over the last 15 years. When ABURE was working in night post before they sacked him for stealing.
I met the man that borrowed ABURE 15,000 naira.
Guys, hold on now. Please.
To stop
Guys, hold on.
interrupting there, because I really want people to listen to him, and I wish you all know who is speaking. Jeff really knows where all the skeletons are hidden. He was the former chief of staff to ABURE and also ABURE's brother. So, like, anything is telling you, take it to the bank.
Oh, I was hoping that you would not say that.
So So he has been Oshomole's boy over the years. What he has been doing when elections are closed, Oshomole will give him money. He will stay in Labour. Anybody that comes to Labour, they will tell the person the ticket are given out. So he has been Oshomole's boy over the years. What he has been doing when elections are closed, Oshomole will give him money. He will stay in Labour. Anybody that comes to Labour, they will tell the person the ticket are given out. When Oshomole came in with the 2007 Labour movement that he used to win Edo governorship, then before he moved to AC, if you recall. So ABURE was assistant secretary. He became the secretary, used some of his juju. Another thing people should know, the man lives and dwells in Calabash. He has extended his tentacles now, the Babalawo in the neighboring countries. I'm sure he now has their contacts. That is his stock in trade. So that's by the way. So what he's always done when APC or PDP are running for elections, they come to him, they give him money, they tell him to hold the ticket so that if there's any strong candidate who doesn't get ticket from one of the big parties that will likely make an impact in a smaller party like Labour, if they come, they will block them. Or if they allow them in, along the way, they will frustrate them out, just like APC tried to do with PU, just that the momentum was too big before the elections. If it was possible, we would have already openly sold PU before 2023 election. So that's what he's always done. So when PU joined Labour, and then the momentum started, people started reaching out to ABURE in Edo. The first person to reach out to ABURE in Edo was late Chief Anene's wife, Justice Josephine. I'm sure people know her. She reached out to ABURE with the intention to keep the tickets for the state. Senator Matthew Rogide of Edo South reached out to ABURE. Mind you, Rogide was in PDP serving senator. As at that time, Obaseki was governor. Ogie was chief of staff. Ogie is ABURE's state political godfather. Oshomole is their king. If Ogie pee on the ground, ABURE can lick it. That's how much of a slave he was to Ogie. So Ogie was the one ABURE goes to get the money and all of the things he cannot do to Oshomole directly. So what they did, when Obaseki started having issues with the state assembly, if you guys recall, they gave up ABURE 300 million to secure House of Assembly seats in Labour for everyone under the PDP structure. Should Obaseki fail in court, they will use the Labour structure to deliver them, and then eventually they will resolve the platform much later. So he took the money. That was the money he used to buy his first Abuja duplex. When he took that money, they were negotiating. Maturugide came. Maturugide wanted to take the whole electable seats in the state. So they were debating. Abure was pricing, Maturugide was pricing, but governor was pricing higher. So at the end of the day, Urugide was uncertain that Labour would be able to make an impression. So he put Neda's name as placeholder. Mind you, Senator Neda was Senator Urugide's chief legislative aide. He put his name as placeholder so that if there's any need for him to take Labour ticket, you can easily switch. Yahweh, the elected rep that are defected now to APC, was Urugide's PA and nephew. He put Yahweh name for the rep. He put some other people in other places. So when the heat was now coming up, other people were now offering Abure money. So there were now disagreement. Out of the disagreement, one way or the other, Urugide didn't trust Labour enough to fly. He didn't trust Abure, so he let it go. That's how date elapsed. And then they couldn't even substitute. Nobody else brought serious money for Edo South. That was how Neda's name remained as the name submitted to INEC. Not as if Neda ever dreamt that he would run for Senate. That's by the way. Now to the story of Edo Central, what Abure simply did, after he met late Chief Anene's wife, the deal was for him to hold the ticket. Abure now said he wants to run for Senate. If you guys recall, he started putting some dead weak posters and pasting in his village in Uromi that was going to run to become the senator. Meanwhile, he was just simply holding the space to useless the ticket. So, meanwhile, the reason why they had that meeting was because of Governor Bewulo, now governor, the INEC governor of Edo. They had met, and he has been endorsed. So Abure was to hold that ticket and make sure nobody uses it. Eventually, Abure and Anslem, former youth leader, now had serious issue because Anslem was trying to also make funds with the senatorial ticket in Edo North. Oshombole was on the ticket. Oshombole was giving Abure small bread that nobody else must take that ticket. So after the back and forth, all the serious credible people that came to even keep the party strong, whether lose or win. Of course, we knew it was going to be difficult for anybody to win against Oshombole in Edo North. But it was also important to have somebody who was strong to represent us at that election in that area. So that was the beginning of Anslem, one of the major bone of contention between Anslem and Abure that started their fight. Now, having done all of that, pressure now started from Edo South, from Honorable Murphy, that Abure went to collect money from RTV and forge Murphy's signature. Problem now started. People now started talking. He now became afraid. After much pressure in December, when it was almost too late, he believed nobody else can win election if they get subsidy by now. He finally released Edo Central's ticket to Engineer Chris Omofoma. He thought the guy would not make an impression. But, of course, Obi's name was already on everybody's lips. So the man went to Edo Central. With the grace of God and the man's dedication, he was able to rally really meaningful support. So much that PO had to come a second time to Edo Central because he was very impressed with the work the man had done and believed by the data we had pulled for the guy. The guy is lived in Canada for a very long time. So he also believed in science and data. So he did data capturing. With the data he had captured, he believed Obi was going to win landslide. And he was going to, run under that carpet. All he needed to do was to defend votes. So he needed a liberal experience. So finally, 2 nights to election, were cash strapped. SLNC released money. 100 million was released to be. The money was funded through my account. And then it was time to push the money to the candidate. SLNC instructed, give the money to all the candidates as their support for the final push. Do you know what your lanky crook was doing? Out of 100 million, he was sending 500,000, 1 million to people, so he would claim that he sent money to candidates. The crook pocketed over 90 million from that money. the Edo Central senatorial candidate even brought 5 million cash, was able to rally 5 million. He brought it to Outward at night and said, Chairman, use this money for a local government for logistics. If need be, I'm holding the other areas strong. I believe we'll win the election. This guy carried that money, went into the room and locked it up. Not a kobo was released. That night, after Engineer Chris had gone back to Uruwa to go and mobilize his people, ABURE called that 4,000 canvassers should be cancelled because he had got a final instruction from Bewolo and his group that they are going to lose the election if ABURE does not stop, if he doesn't do something. So the criminal cancelled 4,000 canvassers. To cut that long story for that senatorial election short, at the counting unit, ABURE lost his own polling unit. He had to spend $1 to buy people to win his polling unit by 3 votes. As popular as Obi is, that to tell you how irrelevant the man was in his own kindred. 2 meters from his house, he couldn't even win 1 vote. So finally, result collation at night came. They started changing the senatorial results because Labour had beaten APC and PDP landslide. So they started changing results so that let's mobilize people to go and cause chaos there so that nobody will have courage to go ahead. He said, he told me what is his business. What am I saying? Am I not knowing the police more than him? So, long story, that's our Edo Central matter went. Are we going to talk about the governorship election in Edo? How ABURE promised over 8 people ticket and was billing each person 1 billion? How when they discovered the demand was fraudulent, they all started pulling back. Did you people recall that finally it was only like 2 people that were truly really serious for the primaries? People who had already started initially, like them, Dr. Dori, who had put a lot of money to grow the party even before presidential election, who had supported the grassroots for the party, were started to pull back. ABURE said was going to run. He told him, you cannot run as chairman. If you're going to run as chairman, maybe you should resign as chairman so you can focus. So there can be some sort of sanity and morality in our party. That was the time they decided to raise shoulder for PO. That's after PO bought him bulletproof car when they wanted to off him in Edo. Is that the crook somebody will come here to defend? So, to talk about the Edo election, governorship election, that's why he said everybody that's going to ticket will bring 1 billion. So when they discovered it was being fraudulent, everybody decided to pull back. Initially, when Olumide joined the party, when Olumide started to reach out to go the party structure, Olumide had requested to meet with ABURE and discuss modalities for the party to move forward. He told Olumide to bring 1 billion. Olumide asked him, tell me what you want for yourself as chairman, as support. I can give you as a chairman, I'll take this 200 million. If you want to buy yourself a house, you want to buy yourself a G-Wagon, it's okay. But allow me work with the party people. Allow me take care of them so that they can be strength in the party from the grass so everybody can be happy. Instead of his dead body, Oludi should bring the 1 billion. He will run the show for Oludi. Of course, Oludi is too civilized and too learned to play into that kind of trap and foolish agenda. So Oludi went ahead and started working, and before he knew it, the man took the party structure. 2 weeks to governorship election in Edo primary, no aspirant was able to offer ABURE even 10 million. He became broke. He became desperate. He now went back to Kenneth Swagbon, a man he has swore with his father's grave that he will not give support to, and started running around and bid the man 500 million. After much back and forth, the man finally agreed to pay 300. But before then, it will interest you to know that Senator Ogide wanted to run for governorship. He had come to ABURE with Senator Alini Hena. If you're from Edo, of course, you know him, former senator whom Osomole replaced in Senate. They had both come to meet ABURE on 3 occasions and had negotiated 500 million to buy the ticket. ABURE was insisting on 1 billion. Orogide was to run as governor, and Hena was to deputize. ABURE was promised that he will nominate an SSG for the party in Edo if they win. Because, of course, if you recall the results from Obedience in Edo for PO, the vibe, the spirit, the enthusiasm was still very strong. So if there was an organized electionary process, it would have made a big impression. pressure became too much, Aburi didn't realize he was going to make a kobo. He now ran back to Imaswagbon. Meanwhile, Oludi had already done what he needed to do as a smart guy. He already had the structure at hand. Now, guess what your friend Abure did? Who the Abure's friend has been defending Abure. Guess what your that brother or your friend did? He went to try to connect with INEC to take election primaries to one local community in one forest where he had gone to mobilize thugs to go and surround the place. Meanwhile, there was already an approved venue where every sane, civilized person that knows the door would likely run such a program. It will interest you to know that on the morning of primaries, Abure was still willing to do anything to get that primary to that place to rig it. That is not to talk of the embarrassment that he received the day police came to pick him, that he jumped fence and attempted to run away from police. So the story is deep and it's plenty, many dimensions. I don't even know where to focus to.
Guy, they cook, Jeff, they cook.
So to buttress the matter further, when the election of Edo primary was closed, it was time to go and sell delegate form. Abure said they were not going to sell delegate form to anybody. All he wanted to do was for Reisman to bring members of staff of his schools in Abuja. They would just fill the forms in Abuja, substitute their names. They will load them inside bus at night, take them to Edo the next morning. They will operate in that village surrounded by thugs, and they will announce winner for primaries. But of course, Oludi was miles ahead. Oludi was monitoring INEC and all of it. Oludi had gone with INEC. They had gone to do delegate election. Abure had sent that miserable Kenneth Tahano to the former acting youth leader. They had gone to Edo to try to fraudulently manipulate delegate election. And trust Edo people in Uromi, they attempted to behead that one for daring to come to Irua to manipulate delegate election. So from the delegate election, Abure realized I already lost ground. So there was so much desperation. Having collected 300 million cash from Imaswagbon, he needed to deliver because the Imaswagbon head is not correct. That one was ready to bite anybody on the street out of desperation because that one wanted to use the ticket to do business. So finally, election money, delegates were showing up and moving to Bishop Kelly. Meanwhile, Abure had gone to Uyi Grand Hall to go and decorate the place as a backup plan for him to perpetrate his evil. He had gone there to surround the place with talk. Abure was moving in Benin with over 15 policemen with the money he was giving and the policemen Rasma brought for him in a bid to manipulate an election process against an Oludi on the ticket. And then finally, the INEC guys that came with the first letter Abure wrote. The second fraudulent letter Abure wrote to change venue fell short of notification period by a day. He had done it deliberately, but the INEC guys were very observant. They noticed that the letter that came the second time was a day short. The head of the group Toledo said, never. He's never going to bow to that. He's going to go to the regional venue. That is where he has instructions. There is nothing Abure did not offer the man to go with him to that Uyi Grand Hotel or go to that forest and write himself for Reisman. So eventually, when all that failed, that's why Abure could not show up at the primary venue. The Reisman Abure collected 300 million naira from could not even secure 10 votes. It will interest you to know that in Abure's local government in Uromi, they had a total of 22 votes. Reisman had 7 votes. What does that tell you of Abure as a person, or as a leader, or as a politician? I'm asking the person who's been defending Abure, what does it tell you? Are you proud that that's the person you are defending on the platform of intellectuals? On the platform of distinguished young people who want to have a better future? Who are looking for leaders to model their life after? In our respective shortcomings, are those the kind of leaders we want to emulate? I'm asking you, your guy that has been defending Abure, please, I go and reflect on that question. So that day, at the primary, he was too embarrassed and too ashamed to come to the primary ground. All the people he had collected money from, none of them could even score 10 votes. Olumide, of course, he played his politics, supported the party from the root, bought, changed the secretariat, took care of all of them, and did make promises to them that if he takes the ticket, He's going to take care of them. Whether you want to say he monitors the politics, it is one thing to give politicians money at that level. It is one thing to build friendship. Olumide had built very cordial relationship with every member. Olumide knew every member of Labour Party ESCOs from local government to state to ward by name. So he had done his job. They were all driving around the state with the vehicle he bought from each local government. That alone kept the party energized in the state. As all of this were ongoing, ABURE was still meeting with Osarodun Ogie at night to negotiate if there was anything he can do to scuffle the ticket. That was why after Olumide emerged, ABURE never went to Edo to campaign. It will interest you to know that for 1 year, ABURE did not step his foot in Edo. People were angry with him. They were willing to take him out if he steps in. He was waiting for the governor to be inaugurated. He didn't step into Edo till the governor was inaugurated. People were not aware. He couldn't even go to his hometown. He couldn't go to his village. He couldn't go to see his family in the state. That is how much evil he had done that he was running away from. So he has sold the ticket. Now let me now break it down to you finally. So after the primaries, campaigns now started. When campaign started, PDP had, remember, after the money collected from Obaseki, when it was time, after Obaseki had resolved the issues he had in court, when it was time for those people who were holding Labour Party tickets for the House of Assembly to come back to PDP, ABURE was becoming stubborn. In short, ABURE stopped picking up Obaseki's call. He had pocketed the money. He was now leaning more towards APC. He was not talking to Shomole at night. ABURE went to UK. He knew that people may have tapped his line. He traveled to UK and bought a UK number to be roaming. So when he's in Nigeria, he'll be using that UK number to call for his fraud. So people will probably track his number to find evidences may be having difficulty. That's the fraud the crook was doing. Finally, campaigns began. He refused to go to Edo. On 2 occasions, Governor Bell will visit ABURE in ABURE's house in Guzape. They were still looking for her to destroy the party structure. Then finally, we woke up one day and Oshomole's ex-girlfriend, former speaker, of course, everybody very familiar with Edo local politics know their story. RTV, ABURE wrote RTV's name and wrote names as a new ESCO. It will interest you to know that it was RTV that paid 30 million to ABURE's wife account that ABURE fraudulently substituted somebody's form that was already in INEC. ABURE went down, took the person's file and threw it to one corner and forged the signature that the person had withdrawn. I hope people have not forgotten that was the primary case that caused the FCID to be looking for us all over the place, that we ran to go hide in Abia for over a week. The forgery case he committed. So I'm asking again, the man that has been defending ABURE, are you aware that it's a forger? That police will put me on handcuff to come and produce the person I was working for who was forging certificate, who was forging people's signature. So before you are defending who you don't know, please be careful. So that's what happened with Edo. When we came back, the idea was to have total control of the party structure because they were a little bit afraid of what Olumide could pull. Of course, in Edo, the agenda was that it should be Ishan's turn regardless. People had hoped that, okay, if it's Ishan's turn, maybe the more supposedly intellectual one will win. Regardless of whatever issues Obaseki had with the structure, people believed Aswen was smart enough. If they say it must be an Ishan man, people believe Aswen was smart enough to make an impression. So that's how ABURE put away. Now, let me give you something very significant that you will know. When Apapa took ABURE to court, when Apapa invaded the office and they removed him, remember ABURE took the matter to state court in Edo when he was removed from the ward, allegedly. It will interest you to know that it was Edo state government that called the judge, Justice Amoji, to make the judgment in ABURE's favor because ABURE was their mole in APC, in the Labour Party. Whatever ABURE was doing, Labour Party was in the interest of the government of Edo. I hope people are aware that ABURE fell out with Kelly Ogbaloy because at a point when Olumide came into the party and Olumide was really making the party stronger, Kelly Ogbaloy could no longer continue to sell the party to PDP with ABURE. Kelly Ogbale started to have conscience, a little bit of conscience, started pricking him. And if you know Olumide is very direct. Olumide comforted them and said, look, Chairman, this is what you were doing in the past. You have to stop it now. I am here. Let us work together. There's no need to be here and be there. Please. He made his point, gave the man the necessary support to be a proper chairman. And the man saw a need to at least change for a bit. That was the day ABURE swore that he would remove Kelly. I don't know what other part of the Edo story you want to hear so that I can go ahead. But this is just tidbits of all of the things that this man had done.